What up, Dokkaners? So on top of the major groundbreaking news that we got yesterday regarding the new units for the worldwide download, we also got a bunch of extra news regarding upcoming content, which obviously makes sense because since we're just a couple of days away, in fact, we're 2 days away until the start of the worldwide download, we got to be getting notification about these events at some point, right? So today's video, we're going to be jumping through and taking a look at all of this stuff. Some of it we already expected, like for example, the red zone, but still I want to go through all of this one more time. So we'll start with the red zone announcement. Red zone stage 3 is going to be coming soon. So as expected, the image will be updated because at the moment, the ultimate red zone is so far just the Z characters, but understandably so, as Future Saga dives into Super, we're going to be getting the Super related characters, starting with Goku Black Rose. So not Goku Black. So this doesn't necessarily deconfirm Goku Black. This just means that Rose will be involved in some form or fashion in stage 3, which leads me to believe that it's likely to be a Goku Black into a Goku Black Rose. So that kind of calls into question how many stages we're going to be getting for this upcoming red zone event. At the moment, the expected range is somewhere between 5 and 7 because those are the stages that we typically get for red zone. The number 5 stages, I think, is so far Red Ribbon Army. No, Red Ribbon Army is 6 stages. Wicked Bloodline is 5 stages, and then 7 is for movie bosses and GT bosses. So this would be somewhere in between. Now, based on our theories from the past, we were kind of expecting it to follow this sort of blueprint right here, but that was of course assuming each fight would sort of encapsulate each individual character, not really overlapping into anything else, which I guess kind of is unrealistic because sometimes you do have multiple forms in one fight. Like for example, Bojack has his army, his Hera clan, then it's Bojack, then it's full power Bojack. So why don't they do something similar here? So it looks like that's going to be happening for stage 3, where it'll likely start as a Goku Black and then goes into a Goku Black Rose, which then begs the question, what is left over? Are they going to be doing 5 stages? Are they just going to be giving us 1 red zone stage per part, with the first 2 having been in the countdown portion? It's possible. So we could end up with just 5 stages. Maybe Goku Black to Goku Black Rose is stage 3. Stage 4 is, I don't know, maybe Zamasu and Goku Black Rose together, just fighting. And then stage 5 could be Fusion Zamasu into Fusion Zamasu Corrupted. That could potentially just be it. Who knows what it's going to be like? You know, based on how stage 2 has been so far for people, I don't think people necessarily want too many extra stages, because the more stages, the more they have to build off of this seemingly insurmountable obstacle for some people already. So I think 5 stages probably makes the most sense, given how that's kind of been the trajectory over the last few red zones anyway. So that is this announcement right here. Starting Wednesday, August 23rd, they will begin preparation. We're just 2 days away, so of course they got to start this now. Next up, we've got an announcement for an upcoming story event. So this was revealed in the V-Jump scan, Super Warrior Memorial Trunks Fighter of Hope. In this story event, we are going to be getting a new Int Trunks. This Int Trunks eventually Dokkan awakens into that Saiyan armor Trunks that we saw in the V-Jump video. But I actually have a translation here courtesy of Minato, so let's take a look at what this unit does. We don't have that information on the global site. It's JP that got it. So let's take a look here. So for this Trunks, this is all that we know so far. Key +1 attack and defense plus 70%, plus an additional attack and defense plus 10% up to 50 with each attack performed, plus an additional attack and defense plus 30 when performing a super attack when there's a Future Saga category ally attacking in the same turn. So this really doesn't give us a whole lot in terms of what this unit could look like in the end, but it gives us some idea. So if that seems like a nice start for you, then that's good, because this is, at the moment, this is the only Trunks that we have. And yeah, I know that Trunks fans might be a little bit confused or maybe concerned at the moment, which is understandable, but with this being the only Trunks at the moment, we're hoping that this is a good Trunks, and I'm pretty confident it will be. There's always the question of if this new unit will also sort of encapsulate the new mechanic, right? Like when it comes to the anniversaries, the new free-to-play LR gives you a taste of the new mechanic. Like for example, 6 year was the revive. 7 year, did we get anything for 7 year? I'm kind of blanking right now. Cancel enemy action, I don't think we did. But then 8 year, we got the standby phase. So they do give you some semblance of the new mechanic in some form or fashion with the free-to-play unit. So maybe they do something similar on this one. So that takes care of that. We'll have to wait and see what that exactly looks like. But I mean, based on the image, you can see it's got Z fighters or Z villains, and it's got super villains. So could this potentially be just like a, I don't know, a tour of Trunks' various enemies throughout the ages? Possibly. They did mention in the Dokkan Now preview video that this is going to be basically a celebration of Trunks' appearances across Z and Super. So this could kind of be the epitome of that by walking through, you know, the various moments, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. All right, let's move on. Future Trunks Saga is getting a new stage, Stage 8. Now, this has me very much thinking that we're going to be getting a TUR and eventual EZA for the STR free-to-play Trunks from that story event. So let me actually show you what I'm talking about here. So let's go to Dragon Ball Super, this one right here. So this story event has been around for quite some time. It's been around since 2016 for JP, 2017 for Global, and it really hasn't seen any sort of update. But this unit right here, the SR STR Trunks, is a unit that Dokkan awakens into this Super Saiyan Rage Trunks, or Super Saiyan Trunks. You know what, now I'm sensing a pattern here. Super Saiyan Rage Trunks doesn't have a unique name. Neither does Fusion Zamasu versus Fusion Zamasu Corrupted. They got to change that. But anyway, this character is just an SSR. You Dokkan awaken the SR unit to an SSR, and he cannot go any further. So, with the fact that they are adding a new stage, I am of the thought that they are going to be adding a new medal that will allow this unit to Dokkan awaken into a TUR. And then obviously, how they typically do these things is if a unit gets a TUR, probably an EZA is to soon follow if it is something related to, you know, major anniversary or something like that, major celebrations. So I think this guy could potentially be in for a new EZA, TUR and EZA. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about that. And then the last bit of news, actually two more. Let's start with this one. Virtual Dokkan Ultimate Clash themed around the worldwide download makes a lot of sense. Obviously, this is really cool. We had this last year, excuse me, for the worldwide download. This was centered around the conflict between Wicked Bloodline and the good guys. So we've seen this before. Basically, it's like a multi-generational conflict. Bardock versus Frieza, Frieza versus Goku, Frieza versus Trunks, and then we got the heroes versus Cooler. So they will be doing something similar this time around as well, which will be pretty cool. We'll have to wait and see what they do. I will tell you guys this. When I started playing Dokkan, one of the first most traumatic experiences that I had to deal with when doing Ultimate Clash was one of the first ones that I did. Let me actually pull this up and see if I can remember this. We're going to be kind of going back to old memories here, but there was one particular version of Ultimate Clash where I was fighting. It was like the most immortal Zamasu I've ever seen. I think it was like the second or third Ultimate Clash. Let me go back. I've got to find this because this is important for my sanity. Was it this one? This was like the first or second one. No, it wasn't this one. Zamasu had to be there. The first time that Zamasu showed up, that was without question the most difficult experience I ever had to deal with. This is the one. This is the one. When I started playing Dokkan, this dude right here, I could not get past him. His heal factor was so insane that I could not get past this point. It was actually the first time that I had to deal with a stall. I only realized after losing to this guy that you have a finite number of turns before you actually you have to beat the boss. And if you don't do it within that finite number of turns, you're done. And I met that goal. I met that end at the hands of this Zamasu. So this is actually kind of low-key traumatic for me seeing this guy back, but I hope that the outcome is different this time, as it should be. But this will be fun. Generally, we get about 31 stones from this. This one might be more like 35 to 40. They tend to give a little bit more during these like special ones. So that's cool. And then the final bit of news that we got here is the new challenge event. So this is basically going to take the place of this. So last year we had Fighting Spirit of the Saiyans and the Pride of the Wicked Bloodline, which ultimately amounted to a series of challenging events, which were actually pretty cool. Obviously, I am a veteran Dokkaner. I am a whale, so I have the means to, indulge on these events. But for those of you who are free to play or on a budget, you might struggle. And this is just going to be another thing like that. This is Divine Wrath and Mortal Will. This is basically the conflict between the good guys and the bad guys in the future saga. And that's all this is. It's basically just encapsulating the entire arc through a series of different fights with different circumstances. Last year, you had a pseudo red zone sort of event for stage 1. Stage 2 was like a shorter version of that. It was like a more condensed version of that. Stage 3 was very interesting because you fought horde after horde of Meta Cooler. So this year, if we got something oh my god, 10 turns? If we got something similar with Goku Blacks, I would actually be very excited for that. I've already talked about that before. A free-to-play Goku Black clone team would be very, very cool. Stage 4 was against the AGL or the Int Super Saiyans. You had to bring a bunch of bad guys. Only one target, so much more robust. Stage 5 was notoriously difficult if you got hit because you were done. But this kind of bred a lot of very interesting strategies that we would see on social media. And then stage 6 is the finale. And basically, it's just the culmination of the entire thing. So what could they do this time? They could basically give us all the different bouts that we've had throughout Future Saga. You know, Goku versus Zamasu. Goku versus Zamasu and Goku Black Rose. Vegeta Blue versus Goku Black Rose. Trunks versus everybody. Mai versus everybody. You know? You could do Fusion Zamasu versus Trunks. You could do Fusion Zamasu versus Vegito. You could do any number of combination of matchups which would work for this event. And then, of course, throwing in the obligatory, I mean, I don't know if I want to call it obligatory, but throwing in something like this where it really just changes things up with a bunch of clones, I would actually be fine with that. I think this would be a nice addition because it would basically warrant a brand new free-to-play team, which is ultimately my goal when, you know, fan casting that. And then also by beating this entire challenge event, we will be earning a 2 Zamasu support memory. So this is when they shake hands and hug. I hope we get to see that hug because that is one of the most iconic moments from this arc. Kind of in the funny meme way. To clear out the stages to obtain the 2 Zamasus. Also, there's a unique title I think that's coming up. Yep. You will obtain a unique title categorized as a special title for those of you who care about that sort of thing. So that pretty much wraps up the new event announcements. There will be more stuff coming up, obviously, throughout the entire celebration. But in terms of the flow of events, we've kind of reached the culmination point here. If we go back to last year, I'm just trying to see if there was anything else that they mentioned before going into the actual start of the campaign. So this is one day. So if we go before that, we got Red Zone right here. Yeah, new difficulty of Red Zone. Was this stage 3? This is just a new Red Zone. Formidable foes. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, this is just a new Red Zone altogether. Okay. We got Boss Rush. There has been no announcement of Boss Rush as of yet, so we'll have to stay tuned for that. But I think that was pretty much it for the announcements back during Worldwide last year. So yeah, it's pretty much the same as it is this year, only there's no word of Boss Rush. But it could happen, and if it doesn't, there will be other ways for us to earn Dragon Stones, so don't you worry about that. There will still be plenty of stones to be gained throughout this entire thing. And then, of course, like during the Dokkan Now preview video, we saw missions, logins. There's going to be a bunch of other ways to do this. You guys are going to be able to earn well over 1,000 Dragon Stones during this next month. I saw some comments. I haven't really been able to reply to all the comments yet, but I saw a few people sort of underwhelmed by the reception of what's, you know, going on with this worldwide download. If you're not a fan of Vegito, if you're not a fan of Fusion Zamasu, best case scenario, you've got all of these challenge events that you can do without those units, or at least using them as friend units, and then you get all of these stones to then save for what you really want. If that's Super Saiyan 4 full power, or perhaps something else later on down the road, you will be able to. So all of these events, no matter who you are, is good news for everybody. Guys, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like down below. Let me know in the comments your thoughts on all of the upcoming content during the worldwide download celebration. Are you expecting the Divine Wrath versus Mortal Will to be as difficult, if not more so, than the Cell, the Imperfect Cell Red Zone event? Do you expect it to be tougher than that? Do you think that the Red Zone itself is going to become even more challenging than the Imperfect Cell? Or do you think this is approximately where we can expect to see the competition sort of, I guess, taper off? Let me know your thoughts about all of this stuff coming up in the comments down below. Also, be sure to subscribe for more dope content in the future and click the notification bell so that you'll let you know you want to see more of my stuff. Do it. Thanks again. Stay tuned and remember to Dokkan responsibly.